Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are all doing exceptionally well today. As you'll notice, I have curly hair now. I got it permed, which is pretty cool. I think it looks really good, and my friends think so too, so that's pretty exciting. Today, it's been about 2 weeks since our last video, and that's how I think I'm going to be spacing these. Between this and my second channel, we're going to be bouncing backwards and forwards as I'm feeling. But today we've got an upper body day. We've got, we're actually in the first week of a 2-week mini cut, which will be very interesting. Basically, I've just been eating too much ice cream. If I'm being completely candid, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I've just been eating too much food, so we've put on a little bit more weight than we would probably otherwise had were we more disciplined. And that's okay, you know, that's fine. We've addressed it, or we are addressing it, and we recognize it. Basically, I've been in a cycle of, massing and being in a deficit, not necessarily yo-yo dieting, but just learning how to diet properly, and that's been a really interesting thing. Also, sorry, the facial tracking is not working on this low light mode, although now there's the sun, so I don't know how that'll look, we'll see. In any case, it's been a very interesting experience, but I'm getting, slowly, steadily closer to, a more appropriate relationship with food. I'm negotiating that, but it just has been really nice to eat a lot of food. To be quite honest with you, I've enjoyed treating myself, I've enjoyed eating, I've enjoyed all that good stuff. So realistically, it's my own fault. But you can look at it in one of two ways. I am gifted, one might say, at eating a lot of food. So maybe I should focus that and really lean into it and see how big I can get, how much I can mass. But on the other side, there is I want to be lean, I want to look good, I want to be presentable, and that is obviously a side of it, and that's something that does not come as easily to me. And maybe you are of the opposite inclination. Maybe you're able to stave off hunger quite well. Maybe you can go for long periods without eating. I cannot. Today was actually, even though it was like day 2 of being in the deficit, it was a particularly rough day. Now I'm in a pretty steep deficit. I'm in, at least in my opinion, I know some people say like 900 calories is technically steep, but I think it's a bit wishy-washy. I'm in a 500 calorie deficit currently, and I'm only doing this deficit for 2 weeks. I've already seen quite a nice change on the scale weight, which is indicative of what I was thinking was happening, which was I just have a lot of food in my gut. There's not a lot, like my food is not circulating out, it's just kind of staying inside of me, which is kind of a gross thing to say now that I said it, but it's when you have surplus calories and some of them are going to be sitting inside you for a long period of time. That's just what that is. Anyway, we'll get away from my bowel movements now, and let's talk about what we're doing today. So we've got an upper body session. We've obviously been through quite a few changes with how we've been doing things, and I actually hit a really nice set of PRs last week at the last week of the increase, the calorie surplus, the gaining phase, which was awesome. So we're currently at a program of, oh, that's a cool spider. We've got an incline chest press using a incline machine press. We've currently been kind of stuck at 4 reps, so I've been using a unilateral press of that as well when I get to my last few reps, just to see if I can push myself over to this. There's one creator on TikTok, a gentleman who's been really interesting to watch for scientific-based lifting, and he's provided a lot of really interesting insights into force deficit and all this kind of stuff. Essentially, I've been doing a bit of unilateral work on my chest press, because when you get to like a bit of a bilateral pressing or whatever it may be roadblock, sometimes if you just focus on a unilateral exercise, you can overcome that roadblock, because the contribution of your muscles to the movement at the very least, as far as I'm aware, is greater in unilateral compared to bilateral. But bilateral, saves time, it's a little easier, all that kind of stuff. So that's been a really interesting tool that I've been using recently to overcome this little hurdle. I think we're at around 50 kilograms for the incline press, which is really interesting. And it's definitely been a nice change from doing my bench press, my incline bench press, because I just was not good at doing that, to be quite honest with you. Aside from that, we've got our rows and our shrugs. We only do these once a week at the moment, because we've been reallocating what we're doing where, and honestly my back's a pretty strong point now, so I've kind of been investing in other things. But this I've now been able to get up to 60, is it 60 kilos? 2, 4, 6, 80 kilograms. I've been able to get up to 4 plates. Last week I rode 4 plates and I shrugged 4 plates, which is ludicrous. I still remember when I first hit 3 plates. And you know, when you hit that new plate threshold, you always wonder, what will it be like when I hit, you know, the next big one, the next big plate? And now I've done it. I just chucked it on. Honestly, I probably had a few more weeks where I could go with 1.25 kilogram increases, but I think I did really well. I got like 6 reps at, what would it be, 3 plates and then 15, I think it was. So I just went, screw it, I want to try for 4 plates. And so I did, and I got it, and that was awesome. And I did it for a few reps as well, which was lovely. So that was a really lovely experience. We've still got that in the program. It's really, really nice. I really enjoy it, and my back looks divine with it. Even though I've said I've, you know, got a little bit more mass on me than I'd probably be comfortable with, even though I am gaining, a lot of that mass I believe is just in my fucking gut. So leave it or whatever. In any case, what else after that? We've got our reverse flies, I think they are, you know, the back of your delt. That's what we're working on. And those have been really nice. We've seen some really good progress with those. We're able to move a lot of weight. And I've actually been looking at addressing some of my movements to make sure that I am indeed focusing on the area that I'm hoping to. I know my abdominal work was one of the things which I think has suffered from just like adding weight carelessly, and that's not been a good thing. So as a result, I've been really addressing that. So this has been one of those things which has been really interesting, and I think it's still going quite well. So I'm quite happy with that. And then we've got 2 more exercises, I believe, or is it 1? No, it is just the 1. So we've got our bicep curls, or a tricep variation if the bicep curl machine is taken. Because yes, we've swapped from the bench, so to speak, to the machine. I just believe the machine is a little bit nicer, and a little bit less, you know, in the way of people. And also, I've just been able to lift more weight, which has been great, because when it comes down to it, the more weight you can move, the better, really. So that's been really fun. But that's in totality how my session looks at the moment. I've been really happy with it. So we're gonna see how we do. We're gonna see how we do today. Obviously we're in a deficit, and I've been really feeling the effects of it today. So yeah, we'll just see what we get. I'm really, really happy with the progress we've made. Hopefully you guys will be able to get something from seeing me train and just what I'm doing and how I'm training and the intensity and all that kind of stuff. We're really trying to dial in all the time on our technique, really standardizing that. So yeah, it's gonna be really, really interesting. In any case, I hope that this camera was following me a little bit more, even though I don't have the face tracking on, but sorry about that. I'll work on it. It's been a while, okay, I'm coming back. In any case, hope you guys are well, stay safe, and we'll hop into the gym now, so I'll see you there. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys are all doing exceptionally well. Today we've got the 50 kilos put on the side here. Now, this is a machine that I've swapped to since doing the incline bench press. With the primary reason being that my pushing pattern, no, you're good, dude, please go right ahead, man. It's a shared space, dude. But the pushing pattern is much, much nicer. So, for me at the very least, the purpose of using the incline was initially to bias the upper chest. However, it turns out the upper chest, having just learned a bit more about biomechanics, is actually biased by the shoulder, I think, being an extension and adduction. So what that means is the shoulder is forward, this side of the body, and close. Now, you'll notice that on things like a bench press, your arms do not come any closer. They're in a fixed range of motion. So technically the best thing to do for this would actually be like cable work, where you have a cable and you're pulling inwards, but we're not going to be doing that because the cable machines are always in use, and this is the next best thing for me at the very least. Plus I still just enjoy pressing, and this is a bit more of a standardized technique that I enjoy. I feel like my technique for actual incline pressing is not good at all. This though is fine. Now, again, the things that I cue all the time when I'm doing this is to move my elbows inwards. Now, we're not actually going to be able to do that. Like, our physical elbows aren't actually going to cross our body or come close to it, because they're going to be locked in, again, by our hand position. But that's just kind of the cueing that I'm going for when I'm doing this pressing movement. Me, realistically, you could be a bit pedantic here or there about, you know, how much it serves you, what it does for you, but that's my belief based on what I've learned recently about it. As for the reason why I swapped, it was again just because if you look at some of my footage of me doing chest press or incline chest press, my technique was all over the place, man. I just couldn't push right. I had like a bite, like my force was all over the place when I was pushing, so we swapped over to this. When you're in a seat like this, not a lot to where you can go except just push. Now, I have written down that I did 5 reps last week. I don't really remember that. I normally get 4 reps on this, so we're gonna see how we do. Again, we're in a deficit, so I can feel the hunger in my gut, so we'll see how we do. If I can get 5 reps this week, I'll be very happy. And this is the other thing, is that if I had the ability to spend a little bit longer in the gym, or my time allocation was a little bit different, I would probably do second sets for some of these working sets, as opposed to doing the little extra Maya rep that I do. But I just don't. I dedicate that time to like across the whole gym session. That's warming up, that's training, and it's stretching out. I find stretching out is really beneficial for me. That's just me. So I want to stay limber, I want to stay nimble, and I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. So I want to make sure that I am, prioritizing that now, because I've got my whole life to live. In any case, we've been trying training without headphones as well recently. I've just been finding that looking at screens has been giving me a bit, just not been meshing well with me. I just find I go into a bit of a rabbit hole of scrolling, and it's just, if I can just avoid it, that's even better. So I've currently just got you guys recording over there, and then my session work as well. So let's see how we do. We also will be doing unilateral work on this as well, but we'll get to that. That was 5 reps. That is really good. Now again, I don't think I'm going to be able to do another rep bilaterally, as in pushing with both my arms. I've just found that this one can get pretty heavy, like right around here. Something I have noticed though is that with things like this, you can just use your other arm, push the weight out to its easier starting position, and move from there. Oftentimes the dead start down here is one of the most difficult parts of the thing to do. So yeah, just thought I'd let you guys know why I'm going to do that. In any case, let's try one more rep, and then if we can't do that, we'll do unilateral. So let's see. Good. Okay, well, by some miracle, we were able to do a bilateral rep, so we don't actually need to do the unilateral stuff. But I will talk you guys through what that looks like from a training standpoint, at the very least, so if you are curious. But I've found that it's been really good for things like this, which are normally bilaterally trained, that I can then move to unilateral, because again, when you're training with just one side, you have a greater recruitment of muscle fibers for the given target tissue, as long as your technique is standardized and all that good stuff. But I'll show you what I'm talking about without using any weight in a second here. That was a really great set. Tempo was good. The pushing felt really good. I didn't feel like I was wobbling around in my seat all that much either, which was super, super wonderful. So just a really, really stellar set, to be honest with you. And again, I know some people use like training blocks, where they put blocks right here, so that when they get started with the movement, they kind of fall away, and then they can move through that nicer range of motion to just get started with, because again, moving from the deepest part of the movement, the deepest stretch, so to speak, is the most difficult position. Being up here, it's not difficult at all. So that's something to bear in mind. But this is what I'm discussing when I'm talking about the unilateral. So you would take this side, push it up to here, lock in, stabilize, and then you do the movement unilaterally to failure. Same thing on the other side. You start here, because again, this is where the chest is in its full stretch, so this is the hardest position to push out of. If you start up here, much, much easier to start the movement. Not saying easier as in less effort, as in a significant differentiator between intensity. I'm talking easier, I can actually do the movement. You may find that there may be certain weights or weight thresholds that you literally can't even do the movement here, But if you were just to start the movement up here, you'd actually be able to get a good number of reps out. It's just because this is the most difficult position. It's harder to do. And that's that. That's our chest press. So we'll move on to the next thing, whatever is available, and we'll go to that. See you then. Rightio, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be doing our reverse pec deck fly or crossbody extension. I've been having a look at a few different things for this. I saw some stuff by Jeff Nippard about how to do this technique properly. So I've been doing it more in this kind of a motion from here back. I believe that the best place to actually do it would be like a full crossbody. Now the interesting thing is that the stretch that you get from all the way down here is very, very good. However, the deltoids lose a lot of their mechanical tension, I believe is the word used, when they get to this really far extension. Oh, actually no, they lose a lot of their ability to exert force because again, you're in the eccentric portion. So I'm not sure how much I actually want to go into that like super deep eccentric, especially considering a lot of the literature and people that I've seen talking about science-based lifting have moved away from eccentric as like even like a stimulus for the point of discussion. So just wanted to mention that and bear it in mind. Today though we will be trying the weight we've done last week, which was 100 kilograms or there or thereabouts for, 100 kilograms for 6 reps. We're gonna see how that goes. I normally again use this more frontal position where I'm at the front and I pull outwards. Today though we will be trying a much more horizontal position. So that's gonna be an interesting thing to experiment with. I think if I'm predicting what I think will happen, I think my reps will go down and I'll need to really focus on the length of the concentric because there's so much more to cover because I'm all the way in the lengthened position over here. So that'll be really interesting to do. Also, peep the shirt. Shirt's pretty cool, right? It is, it's Smaug. Smaug, and I think it's the Lonely Mountain, right? So I got this last year at Comic-Con. I'm really showing that I'm not a die-hard Lord of the Rings fan. I've actually rediscovered it now in my adulthood. I actually used to be terrified of the movies when I was a kid. I never quite got into them. I watched them, but never really loved them because I thought they were pretty. I thought they were pretty grown up now that I'm looking back. But there we are. Yeah, we've got 100 kilograms. We will be trying for 6 reps there or thereabouts. That's what I got last week. We'll see how it goes. I don't particularly have a greater prediction than what I've already given, so we'll just see how that ends up panning out for us. In other news, the Demon Slayer movie came out 3 weeks ago, and I went to see it twice. Part 1 of Infinity Castle was glorious. It was so good. I went to see it in dubbed both times. I went to see it with my friends on the Saturday, and then I went to see it in 4D on the Sunday. Do not go see it in 4D. It is, my gosh, my back was hurting like Gyu Tomioka. Holy moly. But it was insane. It actually has got me thinking if I should read the manga or not, because I'm really, really interested, but I'm getting spoiled for things left, right, and center. You know how it is. People are always out here spoiling stuff, so people are just excited. You know, what are you going to do? And I'd prefer to experience the story on my own terms, even if those terms are the manga, as opposed to getting spoiled by someone in a TikTok comment section. But that's me digressing. Anyway, let's hop into the movement here. We're going to try for 6 reps, and we'll see how we do. Oh gosh, that really contorts your body. That was 5 reps, very good. I do notice though that my machine feels to like reach its mechanical limit. I don't feel like I can swoop my arm all the way around. I have to like tuck my elbow. Bit unfortunate, but I guess I just got longer arms than is designed for. That's okay. We're gonna go for 1 more rep if we can. Just in a second here, but I really did like that stretch actually. That stretch felt really good. Maybe novel even. Maybe that's the reason why it feels good, because I don't normally stretch that far. So in any case, we'll finish up our set here. Or this arm at the very least. yeah, I definitely can't pull myself round the whole way, unfortunately, but there we are, what are you gonna do, right? Oh gosh, very fun though, very good. Now unfortunately I don't have a good camera angle for the other side of this, so we will not show the other side, but rest assured I do my other arm. I'm not like that one kid who trains one side of his body. Man, that kid's gonna, I would say he's gonna go places, he's gone places. He's gonna get himself really badly hurt. In any case, we will leave that there for now, and we will move on to whatever we can do next. So I'll see you guys then. Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, we got something a little bit interesting with the angle we've got here. This is the bicep curl variation that I've been doing recently. Now, you may notice that you guys are behind me. That's because ahead of me is just a bench, and I don't want to put you guys there because that's high traffic area and someone's definitely going to hit into you, and I wouldn't want that for you. In any case, we're going to be doing 35.25 kilograms here. We've previously hit 34 kilograms for 6 reps, which was impressive. We did that last week. So we're going to see how we do again. I've had a little bit of wrist issues with this, but you know, I'm still confident, I'm optimistic. And we'll see just kind of what we end up being able to do. I have good hopes though, you know, I have high hopes for what's going to be possible. And yeah, I've just been enjoying this variation a lot more, to be quite honest with you. Something about not hanging off the back of a bench, quite nice, quite nice. I did have my doubts about this machine at first because again it's fixed, but I've not found any issues since, and hopefully it is contributing towards my continued development, but that kind of remains to be seen. We are, by the way, doing this unilaterally, so sorry, the viewing angle is not going to be the best for this one, but I hope you'll be able to forgive me. Yes, that'll be what we're doing. Now, the machine that I probably would use next does appear to be in use, just as an FYI. So we may deviate from the program a little bit here and just use some stuff from other days, but we shall see. We've still got this set to complete, so let's go do that, and then we'll worry about what else is happening, okay? Awesome stuff, let's get into it. That's good. That's really good. I definitely feel the twisting of my wrist though, which is that kind of dangerous thing that I need to be looking out for. But it's also just a technical deficit. The better my technique gets while I'm doing this, the safer I'll be. So we'll keep working on it. Okay. Nice. That was good. It was really good for our left side, actually. I'm really happy with that. 5 reps, 1.25 kilogram increase, 500 calorie deficit. Not bad. Not bad at all. Although the calorie deficit may go down to a 300 calorie deficit, as I am very hungry. That's kind of what you have to be, all right? That's just how it is. In any case, moving on. That was good. So the difference between my right and my left side definitely feels like my right side is much more linear. It feels like it's much more in line. I don't know, maybe my my left side, I'm like twisting. I definitely feel like I'm trying to twist the movement. Could be a sign of some weakness, and I'm compensating. So that's something to look into. I'm gonna put that in my notes when I'm done, is that I'm much more linear with my movement, and almost intentional on my right side, and I feel like I'm twisting the movement on my left side. Good. Very good. Okay, I'm just gonna lower the weight and just check my left side here. Just see what's going on. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. So that's how I'm holding the right side, so that's how I should be holding the left side. Okay. Yep, I got it. So I most definitely am twisting my left side. So that's why I'm getting that weird discomfort in my wrist, is because I'm twisting the movement. With all that weight as well, that's dangerous. We don't want to be doing that. In any case, we're going to see if we can get our normal last movement. If not, see what else we got. In any case, move on to the next thing. Rightio, ladies and gentlemen. This is our last movement. We were able to get the actual machine we wanted to use, which is awesome because it's very, very busy. Student season's begun, all the students are here. We are going to be moving 4 plates. Don't know how this is going to go. Very, very tumultuous. We're going to have to find out together. Honestly, it was very, very difficult to move, so we will have to just kind of see how it goes. But this is, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, this is 80. So I've done this for 4 reps last week, so we'll see if we can get that to 5 this week. If not, 4 reps is still pretty damn good, so I'm kind of fine with that. Yeah, it'll be really, really interesting. This is one of my favorite movements now. I really enjoy doing this, my back. The best thing to get for this is to wear wrist wraps. If you don't have wrist wraps, you're not going to be able to train your back. You're going to be training your forearms and your grip strength. So, worth mentioning that. But yeah, there's not a whole lot else to say about this. It's our last 2 movements of the day, and then we're done. We're going to go stretch out. We're going to do a post-take commentary, walk home, all that kind of good stuff. You guys know the drill. So we're just going to hop into it. Don't want to crowd the space too much. It's getting to peak hour, so don't want to be too much in the way. But yeah, let's really enjoy ourselves. It's lovely and sunny now. It's usually cold in the mornings, sunny in the afternoons and the evenings. So let's just enjoy ourselves and then get out of here, okay? All right, see you soon. Oh gosh. That is very heavy. Good stuff. Rightio, ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude the session. Honestly, those reps were a little bit shocking. My chest definitely came away from the pad, which is not what you want. You want your chest to stay close to the pad. It's a sign that you're lifting a bit too heavy, technique's breaking down, etc., etc. You guys know, blah, 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 ego lifting, page 1, chapter 2, etc., etc. But it's just something to be mindful of. Again, I think if I was still massing, that would have been fine. Oops. But because I've been in a calorie deficit, even just for a few days, I just don't have that energy. Plus, I'm at the end of my workout. This is normally a movement that I'd put way at the start. So, limitations. In any case, let's get out of these people's hair so other people can use these machines. Stretch out, head home, have fun, you know, play some video games, whatever it may be. I'll catch you guys then. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, we've finished up for the day. We're all done. And job well done it was. We got a lot of good work in today. Even though we didn't push the boundaries on absolutely everything, we still got tons and tons of super, super awesome work. The ordering of exercises could have been better, but it's student season, man. Everyone's on the damn machines, everyone's in the gyms, all that kind of stuff, which is great. You know, I'm so glad that more people are getting into their fitness now that they've moved away from home or moved into the city, you know, all that kind of stuff. But it just means we need to play it by ear when we're, you know, recording and doing our other stuff, basically. So it was a really good session, but I just wish that I could have put my back work right at the start after my chest press. That would have been, that's how I programmed it, but that would have been the most optimal scenario. unfortunate. Definitely felt like my technique suffered as a result of it, but also we're gonna chalk a lot of that up to the calories, how I'm feeling, things like that as well. I also have a bit of a headache going on just in the front of my head here, probably as a result of not drinking enough water today and also just looking at the screens for too long. Definitely something I'm gonna need to work on in my infinite lifespan, you know what I'm saying? In any case, let's talk about the session itself. Session was really good. Chest press, we saw a consistent performance from this week to last week. We also saw an improvement in that we were able to do a bilateral Maya rep, the extra rep that we did, whereas last week we weren't able to do that. We had to do unilateral reps, so that's really good. It's a good sign of progress. We had the crossbody extensions, moving to a much more extended position, and I thought it was really good. I really liked it. I liked the feeling that it had, even though feeling is not necessarily the most important thing when you're doing this kind of stuff. It is still really nice to feel good while doing the movement. So definitely a plus for me. Going to be keeping this weight and now progressing it with that more horizontal angle, because I think it's a very good movement pattern. As for the bicep curls, really good. Again, we found out the problem, which was that we were curling and also twisting, which was not good, and it was putting a lot of excess strain on our wrist. We were twisting to our wrist joint and all that kind of stuff, and just by comparing and contrasting that with our right side, which we felt much stronger, much more stable, much more secure on, we'll now be able to stabilize that going forward and hopefully just, you know, normalize our technique and really dial that in, which is awesome. This is why it's really good to keep notes, even when you're just writing down what you're going to be doing, keeping notes from week to week so that you understand what it is you're doing. Even for myself, you know, we do so many exercises and I've tried so many new exercises that I sometimes forget how to properly set myself into the movement. And so, especially with these machine presses and machine whatevers, it can be good to remind myself, okay, so what's the sensation I'm looking for when I'm warming up, so that I know I'm doing the right thing, and then I don't need to worry about the sensation when I get into my main reps, and I can just focus on doing the movement and just exerting myself, which is really, really good. It's really, really nice, and it's definitely been a great learning experience. Let's see, other things. Is there a car about to turn into me? No, we're good. Other things. So the bicep curls, great. We were able to increase the weight and increase the reps, which is really good considering it's, you know, a smaller muscle group compared to the other things that we've been training today. We did then our final exercise, which was the row and the shrug, which was both a little bit, you know, my chest came off the pad. I definitely felt that, and to some of you that may not be a huge deal, but for me, I want to standardize the point at which I reach failure and the points of my exertion. So if I am changing my technique because I'm too weak for that movement, or I'm just not training it with like the strictness that I normally do, then effectively I've done a different set. I've done a different movement because of the positioning. Now you may think that's pedantic, and I completely agree, but it is something that I do care about, and that's enough for me. So it's not like we write off the set or anything, but it's just something to be aware of. So just thought I'd let you guys know about that. That was our whole set, right? We got chest press, we got our rear delt fly, bicep curls, and then our shrugs, as well as our rows, which was just great, really, really nice. I think it's called a Kelso shrug, that variation of a shrug. I think it's doing some good for me, so I'm pretty happy with it. We're going to be looking at my session going forward and reallocating my resources, I think, because although I'm enjoying what I've currently got, I do feel I'm missing some things. Like, I don't have any deliberate like overhead pressing movements, and I do feel like I've definitely gotten weaker as a result of that. I remember when I was younger and I used to do a lot of gymnastic style movements, calisthenics. I used to be able to do handstand push-ups, and now I definitely cannot do as many handstand push-ups because I just don't train my front delts. And a lot of people say, oh, you get enough front delt bias by doing other things, but I've seen some evidence to the latter, that by training pressing movements specifically overhead, that people have found a lot of progress within other movements. So I just want to give it a try. If I can fit it in, I think I would like to. You know, the way I look at it is, if you can take any muscle group, I've got a little cat. You know, let's see if I can. If we can take any movement, any muscle group, and we can bias that muscle group, and we can train that muscle group to failure, you know, close to, And I think that's a really good idea. Even if that muscle group is stimulated in other movements, I still think it's a generally good idea to bias it regardless. That's just me. In any case, that's kind of how things have been for the gym. It was a good session. You know, we had a good time. Now we're gonna head home, we're gonna eat some food, and we're gonna, you know, keep it going, all that good stuff. But we've got some exciting things currently coming up. Got another Comic-Con coming up, which is awesome. And also, I'm just doing quite well. You know, I'm doing quite well. But I am also sick and tired of work, of the 9 to 5. It's definitely, I don't believe it should be the norm. I don't believe people should do it. I wish there should be a world where, you know, passion was something you could do and your right to live was just, you know, a given. But here we are. So we're going to need to focus. We're going to need to become a different version of our future self, or a different version of our current self in the future, who is able to support ourselves in a different manner, because I just don't care about everything that I'm doing with my employment. With all due disrespect, I do not fucking care at all. I haven't cared for a long time, so it's about time I address that, because I've got the whole rest of my life to live, and the longer that I spend not being who I need to be for myself, the less time I get to be the person I want to be. In any case, we'll hop now into the pose down, and then we'll finish up the video. So thank you guys, and I'll see you then. Radio, ladies and gentlemen, so we've made it, and I decided to actually be outside this time. I'm gonna put my mic just down here, so you guys can, so we don't need to do the whole, you know the drill. Anyway, I believe my upper body has stayed pretty damn good since the last time you guys have seen me properly. Again, it's been a few months really since we've been on this, but I still believe that we've got a nice amount of definition, even though, again, we are in a massing phase, or we were in a gaining phase. Again, we still got some stuff going on in the shoulders and some other stuff as well, but I believe my back is where it's really come through. I believe that my physique, especially in my back, has really kind of developed quite nicely. And again, this is what we currently look like. Like, this is, in my opinion, very respectable, but again, not like influencer levels of crazy. This is just a very modestly respectable physique. I think my development has come a long way, but you know, we're still going. One of the most impressive things that I've kept since the last few cuts has been my chest, my upper chest, like kind of, and clavicular definition, something I'm very, very proud of. But yeah, this is what we got, so let's do some. I'm going to raise the camera up a little bit here. There we go. Just back up a little bit. Raise up one more tick. You can tell I don't record out here. Often I actually don't record out here. That's really nice. I think my lats are coming in quite nicely for that. Yeah, I'm quite impressed with that, actually. That's really, really nice. Let's try and get a front lat spread. Not quite the best. Again, I'm still working on my lat spread. It's a work in progress. I'm not quite sure how to brace it properly. Either way, I look very, very silly. That's okay. Nice side chest. Pretty happy with that. That's a nice one. I really like that. Okay, let's get some tricep as well. Not bad, not bad. I always like doing that one on TikTok, holding the tricep, trying to get a bit of ice action in that. Anyway, the highlight that I've been talking about, oh yeah, look at that, dude. Unimpressed with my physique, by the way, but still, that's been a crazy development, is being able to see how my pecs contract. This is, by the way, how the really interesting thing about the pectoral muscles is the way they contract. They kind of squeeze and then roll. Admittedly, my right side is not as good, but my left certainly was. Very interesting, right? Now then, my back, which I've been talking about for a little bit now. Take the mic with me. I'm quite proud of my back. I think even at relaxation, it's been a real highlight of my development. And now if we do some posing with it, hopefully this will fit in the camera. That's pretty cool, right? I'm pretty proud of it. Let's do one more lat spread. There we go. That one was quite good in my opinion. Anyway, that's been everything. That's my day today. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, please stay well and stay safe. Look after yourself. I'm trying to make some steps for myself and my life. I hope you do the same for yours. Free yourself from whatever the hell it is that this society's made us try and do. I want to do great things, so I need to become a greater person. I'm going to do that. I am going to do that. I hope you do too. Stay well, stay safe, look after yourself. As always, I've been Briz. See you soon.